Girls never admit this, but sometimes the hardest men to leave are the broken ones. Not because they love harder, but because damaged men know how to make women feel emotionally needed. And the scary part? A lot of emotionally broken men do not look toxic in the beginning. They look deep, quiet, mysterious, emotionally intense. Until you realize you're carrying the emotional weight of two people and slowly losing yourself trying to save someone who never learned how to love without pain. So here are 7 warning signs you're dealing with an emotionally broken man. And why emotionally intelligent women eventually stop trying to fix them. 1. He opens up, then punishes you for it. At first he tells you things no one else knows. His childhood, his trauma, his disappointments, the people who betrayed him. And because women are naturally emotionally empathetic, you feel closer to him. You think, he trusts me. But emotionally broken men often confuse vulnerability with temporary emotional release. Because the moment intimacy becomes real, they panic. Suddenly he becomes distant, cold, irritated. Not because you did something wrong, but because emotional closeness activates unresolved pain inside him. So he pulls away from the very person who made him feel safe. And women usually blame themselves for this. They think, maybe I asked for too much. When in reality, emotional inconsistency is often the first sign someone is deeply emotionally damaged. 2. He makes you feel guilty for having emotionally needs. Broken men often want emotional comfort. Without emotional responsibility, they love your softness, your patience, your understanding. But the moment you ask for reassurance, consistency, or communication, you suddenly become too emotional. And this is where many women lose themselves, because instead of asking, why can't he meet basic emotional needs, they start asking, am I asking for too much? Emotionally healthy men do not punish women for needing clarity, but emotionally broken men often see emotional accountability as pressure, because deep down they already feel emotionally inadequate. So instead of growing, they withdraw, or make you feel guilty for wanting emotional security. 3. His love feels intense but never safe. Some relationships feel addictive because they alternate between affection and emotional starvation. One day he is obsessed with you, the next, emotionally unreachable. And your nervous system becomes addicted to the uncertainty. That is not deep love. That is emotional instability, creating emotional dependency. Broken men often confuse emotional chaos with passion. So the relationship always feels emotionally charged, but never emotionally secure. And women stay because they keep chasing the version of him they saw in the beginning. The version that felt warm, open, protective. But emotionally broken people often show love in fragments, just enough to keep hope alive, never enough to create peace. 4. He's attracted to your light, but resents it too. Broken men are often deeply attracted to emotionally grounded women. Your softness calms him. Your confidence inspires him. Your emotional intelligence makes him feel understood. But over time, your emotional stability can also trigger his insecurities. So he starts pulling away when you shine too brightly, sometimes subtly. He becomes colder when you're happy, disconnected when you're confident, distant when you stop chasing him. Because emotionally broken men often crave love, but struggle to believe they deserve it. And eventually, they sabotage the very connection they wanted most. 5. You feel more like his therapist than his partner. There's a difference between supporting someone and emotionally carrying them. Women with nurturing personalities often fall into this trap. You start managing his moods, regulating his emotions, trying to heal wounds you didn't create. And little by little, the relationship stops feeling romantic. It becomes emotional labor. You become the safe place, the emotional regulator, the therapist. But here's the painful truth nobody talks about. You cannot heal a man who uses love as emotional life support. Because healing only begins when someone takes responsibility for their own emotional patterns. And many emotionally broken men are more comfortable being understood than being accountable. 6. He only changes when he feels you leaving. One of the clearest signs of emotional damage is someone who only fights for the relationship when they feel abandonment. Suddenly, he changes, communicates, becomes affectionate, but only after distance appears. And this creates emotional confusion in women, because for a moment, it feels like the relationship is finally becoming healthy, but temporary panic is not emotional growth. Many emotionally broken men fear losing people more than they value maintaining them. So they react emotionally when abandonment feels real, then slowly return to the same patterns once safety comes back. And this cycle can emotionally exhaust even the strongest women. 7. You feel lonely even when he loves you. This is usually the sign women notice last. You know he cares about you, but emotionally, you still feel alone. Because love is not only affection, it's emotional presence, consistency, safety, connection. And emotionally broken men often love in survival mode, meaning they care deeply, but cannot sustain emotional intimacy in healthy ways. So the relationship slowly becomes emotionally unfulfilling. Not because you are unlovable, but because love cannot heal someone who refuses to face themselves. Some women spend years trying to love broken men gently enough to heal them, but love was never supposed to feel like emotional rehabilitation. And one of the hardest lessons feminine women learn is that empathy can become self-destruction when boundaries disappear. Because no matter how patient, soft, understanding, or loyal you are, you cannot build emotional safety with someone who is still emotionally at war with themselves. And eventually, emotionally intelligent women stop asking, "How do I save him?" and start asking, "Why am I abandoning myself trying to save someone else?"